before I start today's video talking about the topic of Desean Jackson and whether or not he is a fit for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I want to thank you for this milestone right here. The channel did just recently reach 500 subscribers, and I want to thank you guys for making this such a fun hobby for me. I do want to do something for 500 subscribers, so if you guys do have a suggestion, go ahead and leave it down in the comments section below. Now, with all that being said, I want to talk to you guys about today's topic, which is Desean Jackson. Now, if you guys see right here, he's very sad. This is the game where the Bucs lost 30-10 against the New Orleans Saints, and he was obviously not happy with the pregame speech that Jameis Winston gave. Now, we have 2 games left in the year right now. 2. And I believe they're against I want to say the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers, not in that order. But let's talk about Desean Jackson's stats so far up to this point. As of right now, with 2 games left, and keep in mind, I do believe he is injured right now. He won't be playing in the next game. Yeah, he won't be playing against the Carolina Panthers next. So, with 2 games left, with technically 1 he does have the potential to play in, he has 50 catches, 668 yards, 3 touchdowns, and an average yards per catch of 13.7, which is the lowest in his career. So what's the problem? What is the problem with Desean Jackson in for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Is he a fit for this offense? Does he have a lack of chemistry with Jameis Winston? Is there a lack of effort there on Desean Jackson's part because the Bucs are a losing team? Is there a lack of respect and a desire to play with Jameis Winston? As you guys see from the picture here, he was definitely not feeling Jameis Winston's pregame speech, so to speak. So does he feel that he doesn't have any respect for Jameis as a leader? Or is it just Winston's bad accuracy is one of the main reasons that Desean Jackson hasn't been performing well? I mean, Desean Jackson is a deep threat, and I will admit the Bucs have gotten at least a little bit better, I hope, in that regard, in that category. But, you know, let's call it how it is. Winston's deep ball accuracy hasn't been the best. He also hasn't played a couple of games this year, which could affect Desean Jackson's stats as well. So what's the problem? Well, one thing I will note is that the offense has looked better when Desean Jackson is not on the field. Now, I don't know if that's Desean Jackson's fault. It could also be the play calling from Dirk Cutter. Mike Evans isn't exactly having the best time of his career either. It's actually more likelier than not that he won't reach 1,000 yards for the first time in his career ever, which is not good. So, I don't know. There's a lot of things that could be the reason for it. But I will say that the offense does look better without Desean Jackson on the field. Now, I don't know if that is because Jameis Winston doesn't necessarily know how to use him that well. Does Dirk not know how to use him that well? Who's to say? But right now, Desean Jackson has a 3-year contract with us worth $33 million, with $20 million of it guaranteed. So he's got a pretty big money deal, and it's going to be a hard thing to move that contract. So there's some ways that Desean Jackson could get better. He might just have needed a full season and another off season to develop chemistry with Winston and work more in the offense with Dirk Cutter, and Dirk might need some more time to figure out how to use Desean Jackson. That could definitely be a possibility. However, you cannot ignore that the offense looks better without him, and I don't know if that's because it's just nobody knows what to do with him in terms of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or what. And that's my question today is Desean Jackson meant for Tampa Bay? Is he a fit for Tampa Bay the way that they run their offense? So they could definitely end up possibly trading Desean Jackson in this upcoming offseason, or very well during the next regular season. Light has been known to get rid of players that he feels that he's definitely missed on, and this year has at least somewhat proven that Desean Jackson hasn't lived up to expectations. You know, he's had the lowest in his statistical categories. He's had the lowest in everything in years, you know. He's performed everywhere he's gone, from the Eagles to the Redskins. I know it's not a lot of places, but still, he's performed well. And this year is definitely going to be probably the 2nd worst year of his career, so it's really a rough situation, and it's hard to say what's going to happen. But let's talk about the other receiving options for Tampa Bay, because this is also another factor that could decide on what Light does with Desean Jackson. You have a lot of other receivers on this team. You have your Mike Evans, you have your Adam Humphries, you have your Chris Godwin, who the Bucs did just recently draft, you have your Cameron Brate, who's been a phenomenal tight end, and you have your O.J. Howard, who, again, the Buccaneers just drafted. And I guess if you want to throw in a guy like maybe Charles Sims in there, I guess you could. But looking at their stats, it's kind of interesting just to see. So Chris Godwin is on contract till 2021. Adam Humphries is going to be a restricted free agent this upcoming offseason. OJ Howard is also on contract till 2021. Cameron Brate is also a restricted free agent. So these guys probably aren't going to go anywhere. That's safe to say. Cameron Brate and Adam Humphries, you know, if they just get that tender, the restricted the tender that they have to sign, they're probably not going to go anywhere. So looking at their stats right now, Adam Humphries has 51 catches, 478 yards, and 1 touchdown. So in terms of average yards per catch, he's obviously less than Desean Jackson. But it's still kind of in a similar way, similar stats to what we're looking at with Desean Jackson. Chris Godwin, 24 catches, 316 yards, and 0 touchdowns. And a lot of people really, really like Chris Godwin, and they feel that he should at least have Adam Humphries' spot. And I could definitely see a scenario where they get rid of Desean Jackson, Chris Godwin's that number 2, Adam Humphries is the slot, and Mike Evans is the starter. Nobody, I guarantee you, not a lot of people would be opposed to that. A lot of people thought Chris Godwin was one heck of a steal, and I could definitely see that being a scenario. OJ Howard's stats, 26 catches, 432 yards, and 6 touchdowns. Cameron Brate's stats, 42 catches, 541 yards, and 6 touchdowns. So this is definitely proving that the Bucs passing game is pretty darn good without Desean Jackson. They can do fine without Desean Jackson. I just named you all of these weapons, and I named a scenario where they really don't need him. You know, Desean Jackson, I feel, isn't needed on this offense, and I love the guy, and if he stays, I'll support him. But at bottom line, I don't think he's a fit for this offense. I don't think Dirk knows what to do with him. I certainly know Jameis doesn't exactly have the chemistry or the timing with him yet. Desean just seems like he seems like a loose gear, you know. He just seems like he's not fitting. Desean, if the offense is a circle hole, then Desean Jackson's a square peg. You know, you guys have heard that saying, trying to ram a square peg into a round hole. It's just not working as well as they thought it was going to, you know, and that's not to say it hasn't worked at all. It's definitely worked to a certain degree, but the expectations, just like this whole season, they weren't met, and it's something that needs to be discussed, and people have recently been discussing it lately. And it's something I've been noticing the whole season for the most part, but I didn't really want to talk about it because I thought, well, you know, it's been a bad year for everybody, but it is something to definitely look out for. You know, I could definitely see a scenario where Jason Light says, Desean Jackson, we're going to get rid of you, or we're going to cut you. You know, he did the same thing with Michael Johnson. He did the same thing with Anthony Collins. He did the same thing with Roberto Aguayo. Now, I know the last one isn't exactly a good example because of in terms of how big the contracts are, but Michael Johnson had a big contract and Anthony Collins had a big contract. Jason Light doesn't necessarily care sometimes. If he made a mistake, he's definitely going to go ahead and get rid of it if he feels that they don't need that player, you know? And again, would you guys really be mad with Mike Evans at the 1, Chris Godwin at the 2, Adam Humphries at the 3, Cameron Brate and OJ Howard at the tight end positions? Maybe revamp that offensive line, maybe get a good running back, cough, Saquon Barkley, cough. Nobody would be mad at that offense. Nobody would be mad at that offense. You know, a lot of people like Chris Godwin, and he's got good signs, and he's got good talent. You know, when he's played, he's looked good. You know, I don't know if the solution necessarily is to replace Adam Humphries. Adam Humphries is shown to be productive, almost as productive as Desean Jackson in a way. Obviously, Desean Jackson has 1 less catch and almost 200 more yards and 2 touchdowns more. But do you want a guy who's more balanced, or do you want a guy who's more all-around decent talent? Adam Humphries works his butt off, and he's an all-around possession, good hands, good route running guy. Chris Godwin, he's got size, he's got speed, he's got good hands, he's an all-around really good wide receiver. Mike Evans, red zone guy, and he's also an all-around pretty decent receiver. Yes, he'll drop the ball a few times, but all-around he's a pretty good guy. Desean Jackson's always been labeled a deep threat, and it's really Jason Light's decision of, do I want to have this guy as just a deep threat, or does Jason Light feel that Desean Jackson is going to be more than a deep threat or not? I don't know. I mean, Desean Jackson's always been labeled as this just this kind of deep threat guy his entire career, and I really don't think that's how the Buccaneers offense works. I feel Jameis Winston likes to do these short and intermediate passes, short and medium passes, so to speak, and I feel that with Godwin, with Humphries, and with Evans, they have the talent to make that work, and I really don't think Desean Jackson fits in there. You know, so what does that mean? Where should he go? I honestly don't know what to tell you. I mean, bottom line, he's probably not going to go anywhere unless he asks to get traded or released, or if Jason Light really, really does feel that he doesn't need Desean Jackson, that the offense can run fine without him, and I could definitely see him feeling that way. I mean, I like Desean Jackson, but I do feel that the offense would be perfectly fine without him, you know? Chris Godwin's shown to be good, Adam Humphries is shown to be good, Cameron Brate's shown to be good, O.J. Howard's shown to be good, and Mike Evans is shown to be good. That is 5 receiving options that you can have in one single play. Good ones at that. Bottom line, to wrap this all up, I guess, in a nice little bow, since we are at Christmas. Bottom line, do I like Desean Jackson as a player? Yes, I think he's awesome, and I would not mind if he stayed with the team at all. Kind of. Do I think he's a fit for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? No. No, I don't. Jameis obviously isn't ready for this vertical type offense that Dirk Cutter likes to run, and I feel that he works better with guys like Adam Humphries, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate. Bottom line, I think that it might be time to either trade him or maybe just move on from him altogether and get rid of his contract. Again, I don't think Desean Jackson is a bad player, but in that same sentence, in this same way, I also don't think he's meant for a Tampa Bay style of offense. I think he could go to a different team, like your Washington Redskins, where he performed very well, like your Philadelphia Eagles, where they pass the ball deeper on a more consistent basis. I think he would flourish more with those teams. So yeah, I think he should go to a team where deep passing is more of a thing, and I really don't think he's a fit for Tampa Bay. But let me know what you guys think of the Desean Jackson dilemma, if you want to call it that, down in the comment section below. What do you think is going to happen with him? Where do you think he's going to go? Honestly, I don't think he's going to go anywhere, but I also don't think he's really that great of a fit for this team. But who knows? He may have this whole offseason and preseason this upcoming year to work it out with Jameis Winston, and he may be awesome next year. Who's to say? But right now, I feel that he's not necessarily a good fit for this team, and I feel that don't really need him. We don't really need him, to be honest. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. Again, I'm going to get rid of this picture of Desean now. Again, thank you guys so much for 500 subscribers. It means a lot. I'm so happy that you guys let me do this as a hobby, and it's really fun. I'm having a great time, and I'm loving this community that we built together. So again, comment what you guys want for this 500 subscriber special, if you want to call it that. And as always, guys, I will see you in the next video. But until then, goodbye for now, guys.